Erich, you are one of the foremost shark scientists in the world, educated and grown up in Switzerland. Now you live in America, Florida, I believe, and that's where you do your work with the sharks. What is a shark scientist?
I have a PhD in behavioral ecology, and my main focus are shark-human interactions. I'm from the University of West Florida, and my special emphasis besides shark-human interaction is recreating shark bite scenarios and analysis.
Obviously, all this work is in the interest of the greater public of this earth, isn't it? So that once the sharks are understood, hopefully we can do something to protect them.
The main goal is to better understand these animals, to understand why we need sharks. Sharks are the most abundant top predator on our planet, over 50 kilograms. So there's a purpose why we have so many sharks. So if you start killing them, you know, we create a time bomb, an ecological time bomb. So my goal is to make these animals better understood, make people understand that you don't have to be afraid of sharks. Sharks are harmless. The problem is we humans create dangerous situations, so I try to bring these animals close to the general public so we start protecting them.
This is exactly the problem that we're having here. Although we have been diving on Protea banks for almost 20 years, and I remember back the early days when people just shook their heads thinking they'll never see us again. It seems to me that still there isn't enough information out there. People still are scared of them, the greater public, and fear the worst when it comes to sharks, really.
That's unfortunately absolutely true. If you have one accident, one attack somewhere, everybody talks about it. So one little incident creates an avalanche. So we have to fight that. We have to show that the majority of sharks would never bite a person. They are shy. They stay back. They never approach us. So we really have to change people's attitude towards these animals in order to protect them.
In South Africa, we have approximately 1,000 traffic deaths every month. So we're looking at about 12 to 14,000 people getting killed on the road. We just accept it. This is just day-to-day living. How many shark attacks are there worldwide where people actually lose their lives?
Each year we have between 6 and 10 people who die from shark bites. But it's not like that a shark shows up and bites a person apart. You know, it just cuts several femoral artery. So they're not really big wounds most of the time. But 6 to 10 deaths per year compared to what you have on car accidents, it's literally nothing.
And yet this makes headline news every time.
The big problem is sharks unify our basic fears. They come from below, they come from the dark, they can't eat us alive. We are in the water where we don't really feel comfortable. So we just unify all these fears into one animal, the shark. Shark is just it.
Now, talking about the shark nets that we have here in this province especially, do you think those nets are really protecting the beaches from what we've shown you, the way they are situated and the way they operate?
I don't really think that these nets have a purpose. We should get rid of them, all of them. What we create is we just basically justify the fear. You see, that we are afraid of sharks, that's why we have the nets out there. You can remove these nets and you still would not get any more bites. So I think, besides that they're a nuisance, I think we should get rid of them.
Look, to give you an idea, these nets cost our municipality here in Margate, the Hibiscus Coast municipality, in excess of 7 million rand a year. Our roads could do very well with this kind of money. But yet we did have an incident, well, not an incident, we had an argument between the Sharks Board and the municipality, and 3 weeks before our Christmas peak season last year, they couldn't find a solution and the Sharks Board removed all the nets. We, of course, the divers who know sharks and the sharks' behavior, we were extremely happy about that. But the rest of the population, the entire business community, the entire population of this settlement here, freaked out completely. They all thought, we'll never see another tourist, we'll never see another holiday maker. Anybody who goes into the water will be eaten by sharks. That is the common perception still today, unfortunately. As we heard from you, it is absolutely not possible. It isn't true, isn't it?
It's a fact. I mean, what we think about sharks, you know, the amount they bite people, it's exaggerated. We have these 60 to 100 incidents a year. Incident meaning a shark pushes a person from the surfboard or may do an exploratory bite. That's it. I mean, we in Florida, we don't have nets, and look what happens with us. On occasion, we have a bite, but there are no fatal incidents. So what we have here in South Africa is just, we sort of create the fear to justify the nets. So if we actually start understanding, you know, what is the real threat, we definitely don't need these nets anymore.
It's business, isn't it, on the one side as well. On the other side, is it true that a surfer resembles a turtle?
There's a common idea that sharks mistake surfer for seals. That's absolutely incorrect. The shark knows that the surfer is not a seal, but on rare occasion he tries to figure out what is a surfer. So no, definitely sharks do not mistake us for anything.
And when we get bitten by mistake, normally there is a reason, isn't it? Say for example the shark attacks we had at in the Transkei, in the former Transkei at Port St. John's, where the river comes into the ocean. What would you think is the reason for people to get injured in this beaches there?
I mean, there's different reasons. The majority of all bites are of exploratory nature. The shark tries to figure out, but of course only a few sharks will ever try. The majority stays away of us. But then of course you have sharks in the river mouth. The water is very turbid, you don't really see anything, so they go by hearing. And sometimes they really all of a sudden face a human being. They get stressed, they get spooked, and they bite us, but it's never that they really actually seek us out and try to eat us. That never happens.
Erich, you talk from experience. This is a shark bite that has taken your calf, and you still have no problem with sharks.
I mean, when I got bitten, someone really did a big mistake, and I was the recipient of this mistake, so I could never blame it on sharks. So in that case, I really had a spotter, and he just tried to, he actually had to prevent what I actually ended up with. So no, I mean, I don't blame sharks, and I know sharks are harmless. What is not harmless and what is dangerous is the situations we humans create. So we have to go out there, look at the beach, so okay, this is a different scenario, a difficult scenario. It might get out dangerous, so we have to work out this scenario. So sharks are not dangerous. So when I got bitten, well, so be it, but it was not the shark's fault.
What can we tell the people who go swimming on our beaches in case there is a shark spotted, in case there is ever the time comes that the nets will be removed? What do they look out for? How do they need to use their common sense?
The most important thing, if a person sees a shark in front of them or close by, you actually stop moving. So you don't move away because you don't want to create any other sound patterns. You go in a vertical position, you let your feet hang, you use your arms, and you turn with the shark. Sooner or later the shark will lose interest, and then you can withdraw in a controlled manner. But if you see a shark and you just haul ass basically to the beach, shark will get curious. Why is this thing moving away from me? Why is it making all these sounds? Yeah, it creates curiosity, so you want to avoid that.
This is something really important that everybody should remember for the rest of his life if he is a water sport enthusiast. Lastly, I would like to ask you about Protea Banks. What brings you here to Protea Banks of all places in the world?
Protea Banks is, among divers, one of the world's top spot of seeing sharks, and that's what draws me back each year. If I can dive with these sharks, I'll come to Protea Banks because it's such a great place.
And it was good this year?
Oh, this year was incredible. We've seen everything I wish, and I definitely come back, so because it was really awesome.
We hope to see you soon again. We hope that your message will be spread amongst the locals and the holidaymakers and tourists, and we hope we'll never have a shark incident in this area or anywhere else.
I hope the same, and you definitely see me next year. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Erich.
Thank you.